Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Great Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Well, here it is, another Wednesday, and what do you think today is? It's Cinco de Mayo! Ya-cha-cha, 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 ya-cha-cha. No. Well, yes, it is Cinco de Mayo, but it's something else also. Something else also. Can you guess what this 5th of May is? This 5th of May happens to be Heavenly Mother's Day. Woohoo! Woo! Woo! Heavenly Mother's Day, how exciting! Finally has arrived. The greatest, well, almost the greatest day of the whole year. I think Matranacht or Modrinicht takes the cake for the absolute most superb day of the year, but Heavenly Mother's Day is equal. It really deserves to be equal. Because Heavenly Mother's Day is the day that we honor the mother. Yes, that's right. The mother. Now you're all thinking, what's the mother? Is that vinegar? Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Because vinegar is so sour, but it's also so healthy for you. What a conundrum. Why is something so sour also so healthy? Why do they make these vinegar gummies? They're so good for you, and they're just like a sweet and sour candy, and they added like xylitol in it to give you diarrhea, and you can't eat enough of them. Yes, it's the mother. The mother. And as promised to all of you out there who may happen to be watching, as I promised, this Heavenly Mother's Day will be different because this is the year of Maleficent. Maleficent. And because it's the year of Maleficent, we're dedicating this Heavenly Mother's Day to the Maleficent Mother. Yes, folks, we've come to it. We've finally come to it. Our final triad of the triad of evil, Maleficent Mother. And Maleficent Mother, she wanted me very much to make this video. And it's a huge responsibility. Oh my gosh, the stress is actually, it's getting to me thinking about talking about Maleficent Mother. It's such a huge responsibility for me. Because the crone, we can understand the crone being Maleficent crone. We can understand that because there's aspects of crone that are like Maleficent already. And that's Goddess as we know her today. So we're familiar with her. Maleficent Maiden we were unfamiliar with, but we were introduced to her and she wasn't so bad. She was bad, but she wasn't that bad. So we could understand her on some level. But how do you understand Maleficent Mother? Oh my gosh, Maleficent Mother, that's beyond comprehension. Because Maleficent Mother isn't maintaining evil. Maleficent Mother isn't the dawn of evil. Maleficent Mother is the creation of evil. Maleficent Mother represents evil in the womb. Evil in the womb. And we don't like to think about evil in the womb. Obviously, we don't like to think about evil being in a womb. We like to think of babies as pure and innocent, and their relationship with their mothers as pure and innocent. But consider this: Adolf Hitler was once in the womb. That was evil in the womb. My father was once in a womb. That was evil in the womb. Mengele was once in the womb. That was evil in the womb. Adolf Eichmann was once in the womb. That was evil in the womb. Stalin was once in the womb. Pol Pot was once in the room. The Baroness of Bath, or is it Bathany or is it Bath? I'm not sure. She was once in the womb. So there was this great womb, contained all the evil men and women of the world who were about to be born evil, right? And we didn't know who they were. Only Goddess knew. Only Goddess knew. She knew. She knew. And she didn't always know, because we do have free will. But she had a pretty darn good idea of who was going to turn out evil. She pretty much knew that certain individuals would have to exercise their will to the max to avoid becoming evil. They were just destined to be evil, and they were. They were. So, we have this womb full of good things, but also full of bad things. And those bad things were put there by Maleficent Mother, the dark side of the Force, the dark side of our goddess, put evil in the womb. And not just any evil. Not just any evil. All evil. All you've ever experienced. Ever made you feel awful. Everything that ever got your gander up or raised your cockles, or I don't know what else to say. You know what I'm talking about. Anything you've ever considered pure, unadulterated evil. Maleficent Mother conceived it. Maleficent Mother thought of it. Maleficent Mother was the mastermind that brought all that evil to creation. So she's more profound at once, and also more evil than Maleficent Crone or Maleficent Maiden. This Maleficent Mother, is like a criminal mastermind, because she came up with all these evil schemes, evil plots, evil thoughts, evil feelings. She came up with all of it. And not because she wanted to, but because it was an essential part of her nature. It was just a natural outgrowth of herself, of this Maleficent Mother. It was the part of Goddess that had been given her own personality from the beginning, and given her own persona, and stayed separate from the light part of Goddess, and then created. She's actually been quite creative. She's may have even created more than the light side of Goddess. Maybe. We don't know. Because there was a lot of light in this universe. There's also a lot of darkness. And Maleficent Mother was the great mastermind that conceived it all. Now, in honor of the Maleficent Mother today, I would like to share with you a very great evil, just to give you a conception of just how evil Maleficent Mother can actually be if she wants to be, and how we should be moved by the profundity of this evil, by the enormity of this evil. How, if our souls aren't moved even with revulsion and horror, something wrong with us. Okay. My history professor gave us a video to watch. Sorry about that. History professor gave us a video to watch. It was about modern day slavery. Ooh, modern day slavery. By modern day, what is meant is slavery after the Emancipation Proclamation. That was not the end of slavery. Slavery continued in this country. But unfortunately, I never got to watch the video because for some reason, maybe copyright issues or an issue with the content of the video, for some reason the video had been removed from the school library. And the school library was the repository for all the electronic media, and it had been removed. However, when I arrived on the landing page for this modern day slavery video, it was gone, but there were search suggestions with samples, little sample pictures that were stills from each video. And the very first search result had a picture, was a slave woman, an African American slave woman wearing either a cap with frills or some sort of a bonnet on her head. And the name of the video was "Exterminate All the Brutes." And there wasn't just one "Exterminate All the Brutes" video. This particular "Exterminate All the Brutes" video was one video in the "Exterminate All the Brutes" series. Ruined my night. And so I wrote to my history professor and told her, ruined my night. I'm having emotional problems because I saw the name, just the title of this video. Just the title was enough to ruin my night. And I don't even see my therapist for a few days. So I don't know what to tell you. It just really upset me. She finally got back to me. She wrote me back and told me that she was sorry that I had seen that title, "Exterminate All the Brutes," and that she would look into removing that video from the library. Now, I don't know. Maybe "Exterminate All the Brutes" is a really great video. Maybe it's a great movie. Maybe it's a great series. I don't know. I didn't ever see it because I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch something titled "Exterminate All the Brutes." I didn't want to see it. It upset me so bad and so much. I was so upset. And then I realized, oh my gosh, Maleficent Mother brought this into being. Maleficent Mother invented "Exterminate All the Brutes." And I don't know what to tell you folks. It's just pure evil. It's pure evil. If you don't think it's pure evil, there's something wrong with you. Maybe you're wearing a white hood somewhere. I don't know. I was disgusted and shocked and horrified and sickened. Made me ill. And so I had to think about this. I had to really think about this and think, should I even worship a Maleficent Mother if she created something like this? Because I feel so much revulsion and so much horror when I contemplate. She created exterminate all the brutes. She created that. Yeah, she did. She created it. She made it possible. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything that's possible to have been or will be was thought up by Goddess, including evil. So Maleficent Mother created this monstrosity. And I didn't know what to think. It was hard for me to deal with. It was hard for me to reckon with. And I can totally understand if you don't want to worship her. Oh boy, can I understand it. I can understand why you would never give her a day of your worship. However, fact is that the mother of chaos, which is evil, mother of all chaos, she's a creator. She had a role to play in the creation of our universe. And she's never going to stop being chaotic. She's never going to stop being evil. She's never going to stop being messed up unless we send her all our love. And you think, well, how is it even possible to change a goddess? But if all of her children united as one, projected pure love to this Maleficent Mother, it might change her. It might. Things might begin to turn around. She might become part of the light side. We might actually have a total shift from evil and chaos into the light. And I think that is a wonderful possibility. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it would ever even happen. But it's worth hoping for, wishing for, praying for, thinking about. If we can change, if humans can change, then why can't the essential nature of Goddess change if we're a part of Goddess? It makes sense, right? That the chaos can be shifted into order. The chaos can be shifted into order. The chaos can be shifted into an orderly, beautiful, good configuration. It can be rearranged. Yes, the goddess can change. We can change her. We can change her with our love. Now, to please this Maleficent Mother, I wanted to please her. I wanted to do something that would please her greatly, would make her happy. So, I wrote a positive review of this history professor of mine. She's a beautiful woman. Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Very lovely woman. She's a communist. But I'm not naming names, so I'm not guilty of slander or libel or defamation of character because I'm not naming names. But she's a communist. She is a communist. And I wrote a positive review, and I'll tell you a little bit about my review. I said, I agree with my professor. This government of ours is pure evil. And it's not just our government that's evil. It's a deep moral failing of the American people themselves. And I went on to say, all of U.S. history is just so deeply cynical. Or the history of this country is so deeply cynical. And then I added, I learned a lot about the history of minorities, communists, and socialists. Ain't it grand? And that was my review, and that was the positive part of the review. For the negative part, I just put a dot. I didn't say have anything negative to say about her. I did that. I did that today. I let go of my antipathy. I did that today as a sacrifice to Maleficent Mother. To Maleficent Mother. Was to her. Was for her. Was by her. I did it for her. It was sacrifice. And it was my free will choice. I could have chosen to go the other way, but I knew I was being obstinate. I should just go with Goddess's will. So I did. After all, that professor was really nice to me. Why shouldn't I be nice back? Even that's what she wants, and I know it. That's what she wants, and I know it. She was super nice because she knew what she was teaching was super controversial, and that certain people even considered it evil. And so she was nice to try to quash dissension. Now you can say, okay, well, that wasn't very nice what you said, because people are going to think you're being sarcastic, and they're going to know that you're not serious. Okay, so I admit it. I wasn't 100% behind her. I wasn't 100% positive, but I meant part of it. I meant part of it. Yeah, I was being as honest as possible. The only part that was the sarcasm at the end, that was the only part that was out. But it was true that we learned a lot about minorities, communists, and socialists in this country. It was their history, their story. I heard it from their perspective. Didn't learn much about history. Didn't learn much biology. Didn't learn much about a science book. Don't remember the French I took. I didn't learn a lot of history, okay? There were presidents' names, but not all the presidents, because not all the presidents were important according to my history professor. Didn't learn dates. Didn't learn places or times or names, except of activists. It was a history of activism. And that was the most important thing to them, was the history of activism. Okay, I'm gonna spill the beans now. Okay, I'm gonna spill the beans. Are you ready? You ready? I'm gonna spill the beans. One word. Stanford. There, I said it. It's the top school in the entire nation. It's #1. Stanford is #1. You may think Harvard's #1. It's not. Stanford is #1 and has been for many years now. Stanford. That's all I'm going to say. It's everywhere, folks. Communism is everywhere. But today is not about communism. Today is about the Maleficent Mother for all of her children, even the communists, who are probably atheists, but she doesn't mind them either. She created them, so she understands them. And it's for everyone. Now, I'm going to veer into a different topic in praise of this great Maleficent Mother. In praise of this great Maleficent Mother, I'm going to do something purely evil. Purely evil. And I want all of you to forgive me for it ahead of time. Okay? I'm going to do something purely evil. I'm going to be politically incorrect. I'm going to be politically incorrect for the sake of Maleficent Mother, because Maleficent Mother invented political incorrectness. She invented political incorrectness just like she invented everything else. So I'm going to give you a politically incorrect view of our universe and of the world. politically incorrect? What am I talking about? What is she saying? What is it now? What's politically incorrect? Well, since we're talking about Maleficent Mother, the great mother of all, like, is it politically correct to even worship a goddess? Think about that. Is it politically correct to worship a goddess, or is it politically incorrect? Is the goddess herself becoming politically incorrect? Should we call her Father, Mother, or should we use some gender-neutral term to describe? Should we call God it? Well, there's some people who would think we should call God it, or maybe call God they and them, and never use any gendered pronouns at all. That's political correctness, folks. That's the new wave. So I'm going to be politically incorrect today and say, yes, we should worship a goddess, even though it's politically incorrect, because political incorrectness is in nature, and political incorrectness is part of our world. It's politically incorrect for a lion to eat a zebra, but that's part of nature. Happens, and we see it anyway. I don't know whether asexuals, forgive me for using the word asexuals, but that's how they refer to themselves currently, asexuals. I don't know if they have a rich inner spiritual life or not. Or maybe they're atheist. Maybe they're humanist. That's another option. Maybe they're more into philosophy and don't think about religious topics. But most humanists are atheists anyway, because humanism is an atheist philosophy. But why would I discuss asexuals? This is important because there's a new movement in the LGBTQIA plus community. It's gotten longer and longer. Each year it gets longer and longer. So they have to add something onto the plus. They'll have to add a minus sign to make it more equal and balanced. They'll add a minus sign next. I predict that. You heard it here, folks. There's going to be a minus sign at the end of that pretty soon. Yeah, there's a movement in the LGBTQIA plus community. It is a movement for the dissolution of all gender. And this is considered a great good by the people who espouse it. They're the people who believe in the perfectibility of humankind. And maybe we should even remove the word man from human and just call them Hugh. Because man is gendered. And we should remove man from woman too. Call her woman. But we shouldn't have men or women. We're going to eliminate men and women. We're going to eliminate you folks. If you're a man or a woman, you're eliminated officially. Not eliminated completely. We're just going to cut something off so everyone else feels comfortable. Yeah, that's the new political correctness. You're going to be neutered. Neutered. So other people feel comfortable with you. I know that's politically incorrect to say, but isn't that where we're headed? Isn't that where we're headed? Gone are the days when someone could feel good and turned on, or get a sexual thrill, or have a kinky fantasy. All that is done. That's done, baby, done. That is gender related, and we can't have anything to do with gender because we're making asexuals uncomfortable. So in order for asexuals to feel comfortable in their own skin, feel comfortable walking around outside, feel comfortable in their world, we all have to become like them. We all have to become asexuals ourselves. And this is the ideal human state because male and female are just these constructs, have no validity or or significance. There's no such thing as femininity. It's all made up. And there's some seeds of that very early on. Look, Betty Friedan wrote The Feminine Mystique. And that was sarcastic because she didn't really believe in femininity. She didn't believe there was anything truly feminine, or that if there was something feminine, that was just made up by a bunch of men. So, and who wants to live up to a feminine mystique if there's no such thing, right? If it's just a construct, a mental construct that isn't a reflection of reality, who wants to live up to that? So I bring you this great message today in honor of my maleficent mother. Okay? That message, you're not going to like it because it's politically incorrect. Or maybe you will like it. Maybe you will like something politically incorrect. Everyone has gender. Okay, I said it. Everyone has gender. Isn't that awful? Isn't that the worst thing you ever heard? I'm actually invalidating the experience of these asexual individuals. I'm actually saying, oh my gosh, even the asexuals have gender? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Asexuals are living their truth, which is that they don't like gender. Okay? Doesn't mean they don't have gender. It just means that they don't like gender very much. Now, I can speak intelligently on this topic. My own mother is asexual. She hates sex. She hates sex. She'll have nothing to do with sex. She hates it. She doesn't want sex. She doesn't want to think about sex. She feels that sex is great evil. And she isn't really living the life. She's been attracted to both men and women, and she's living the life of no sex at all, and she's loving it. That's her ideal state. That's where she wants to be at. She doesn't want sex. She hates sex. So she's asexual, but she has gender. Whether she likes it or not, whether she would prefer it or not, whether she wants to or not, she's got gender. And I'll discuss gender very briefly. Everyone has two genders. You wonder why only two? Why do people only have two genders? Why can't they have 3 or 4 or a dozen genders? Because that's the way it is, sweetheart. People have two genders. That's all they get. And one of the genders that people have, one gender, is relative. Like you've heard Albert Einstein say, it's relative. Time is relative, is what he said. Time is relative, space is relative. It's relative. So one gender is relative gender. The other gender is personal gender. And I'll try to explain these briefly to you, as briefly as possible, because we're running out of time now. Relative gender. All of this has to do with physics, okay? And it has to do with the spirit. So if you think of the spirit as being composed of energy, and in a sense it is composed of energy, but it's not really energy, it's something else. But I haven't gotten to that point yet. Spirit that's composed of energy has a certain frequency. Has a frequency. And in addition to having frequency, it can express itself either in the form of particles or waves. And it's the waveform that we want to look at. So let's get right down to it. The frequency. Frequency determines relative gender. Yes, it does. Everyone that's a sentient being in this universe has their own frequency. Some frequencies are high, some frequencies are low, and there's everything in between. See why it's relative? Everything in between makes it relative. Now, Goddess has the highest frequency. From her, we can ascertain, since she's the divine feminine, that the feminine frequency is very, very high. Okay? All of creation is below her frequency. It's a low frequency because energy moves from high to low. So when it moved out of Goddess, it moved from a high frequency to a low frequency and became the divine masculine. So the masculine energy is a low frequency. But there's all these frequencies in between. How do we define them? This relative gender can explain asexual individuals because they are somewhere smack in the middle. They're average. They're just so average that they don't feel that they really even have a gender because they're so average. They're somewhere in the middle. So there's very high frequencies, very low frequencies, and in between frequencies that are less gendered. The high frequency individuals are going to be feminine no matter whether they're male or female. The low frequencies are going to be masculine no matter whether they're male or female. And the average frequencies are going to be a little bit male, a little bit female, but really neither one, whether they're male or female. But that doesn't change the personal gender of the individual. Personal gender of the individual is determined, get this, by waveform. Wave. Now the wave goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down again. And there's a crest, and then there's a trough, and there's a crest, and there's a trough. Okay? Now, I'm not going to say which is the crest or the trough. There's got to be a crest and a trough. You could flip it upside down. You could flip it sideways. The waves go through space just all skewed and crazy and out there. So, although we know there is a crest and a trough, we really can't say which is up or which is down, which is high or which is low. But one side, the crest, is either male or female, and then the trough is the opposite. So if the crest is female, then the trough is male. Okay? Or if the crest is male, then the trough is female. So I'm not going to say which is which, because I'm not even sure myself. You can meditate on it and let me know in the comments section. Crest and the trough determine male and female. And now you can figure out very quickly, well, if the crest can't survive without the trough, and the trough can't survive without the crest, if we need both to create a waveform, then that means there's going to be a male and a female individual for each frequency. Well, you've graduated. Welcome. Welcome to my world. Yes, crest and the trough determine the personal gender, whether the person is male or female. There's a male and a female for each frequency. So ostensibly, there's a male and a female soul or spirit for every frequency. There's someone out there that shares your frequency, shares your exact frequency, and they just happen to be the opposite of you. So if you're female, they're male. If you're male, they're female. And this is quite fascinating because this is where we get the idea of twin souls, twin selves, twin flames, other selves, soulmates. There's many names, many words. People have come up with many terms. And some people make distinctions and say they're all different. But I think they're interchangeable, to be perfectly honest with you. Somebody who shares your frequency is just perfect for you. That doesn't mean you'll wind up together on Earth, but they're just perfect for you, and eventually you'll wind up together. But it's kind of seems heterosexist, doesn't it? Heterosexist for a male to wind up with a female. Now you want to defy the laws of physics and have crests going bump, 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 and troughs going woo, 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 without a matching pair, right? But that's not how it works in nature. You don't see crests without troughs or troughs without crests in nature. You need both. And so, and out in nature you see every single possible frequency. So, what does this have to do with sexual orientation? Well, should be obvious that, and you're not going to like this either, this is very politically incorrect. This makes people so angry, makes them so mad. You can stick a male soul into a female body, female soul into a male body. You can stick any soul into any body you want to. That's just a container. The soul shines through the body. And here's another thing, like, how do you explain really masculine gay guys or really feminine lesbians? Well, simple fact of the matter is that one's personality is shaped, sculpted by one's experiences, not by one's frequency. So one may absolutely prefer the same gender as oneself, may absolutely prefer the same gender, even if that doesn't match up with one's personal gender. You can see that, right? That it's a personal preference, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. That's all right. And oftentimes, people who aren't a perfect match for each other, who aren't soulmates, wind up together. And that's fine too. We're all having a human experience, so it's okay. It's okay to match up with someone who's not your soulmate. That's fine. That's just fine. In fact, it's all in the story. You know, Goddess approves of these stories, and we get to tell these stories again and again. You can be a femme lesbian forever. You can be a femme forever if you want to. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And maybe, just maybe, eventually, your twin self will choose to join you as a woman, and you can be a female pair for all eternity. You may not like your twin self too much because they're going to be butch. They're going to be fairly butch. But it's obvious that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with assuming a lesbian form for eternity if that's what you prefer. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. As long as you acknowledge that yes, there is such a thing as gender. There is such a thing as gender, and it's great. And you can't eliminate it. You can't deny it. And why would you even want to? What do you have against gender as something that's so basic to everyone and so personal? Why would you want to invade somebody's bedroom or invade somebody's mind or invade their personal space and try to neuter them just to satisfy some philosophical meandering you may have? Says, well, there's no such thing as femininity. We have to eliminate femininity from our vocabulary, deny that there's such a thing as femininity. And the same with masculinity. We have to eliminate masculinity. We have to deny masculinity. We have to eliminate it from our vocabulary. We have to eliminate the state of being masculine. We have to have gender-neutral toys, gender-neutral shows, gender-neutral everything. And as far as sexual development goes, we just have to either cover it up as well as we can, and pretend there's no gender differences, or else cut it off. That's the ultimate outgrowth of that philosophy. Why would a goddess put nearly almost 7 billion males and females onto a planet together? Why would she do that unless male and female was something pretty significant? I don't see any reason why. I don't see any reason why she would do that unless it was significant. And you may deny that she's a she. Also, you could say, well, God is male or God is gender neutral. We will never accept a goddess. Never. They either have to be male or gender neutral. We'll never accept the goddess. We want to eliminate the divine feminine. I say a hearty F you to that. because it's our Maleficent mother. It's her special day. It's her heavenly Mother's Day. It's her time to shine. It's her time to be celebrated. To celebrate femininity and in all of its creative, gory glory. Too bad if you don't like it. I don't care. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if it's politically correct or not. I don't care if it's politically correct. So, I'll leave you with a meditation. This Heavenly Mother's Day. You can make an offering to the Great Mother on Heavenly Mother's Day. But you don't have to. She gave you everything, so she doesn't need anything back from you. She really doesn't. I know I've made offerings in the past. Instead of making an offering on the altar this Heavenly Mother's Day, offer the Great Goddess an action. Do something for the Great Mother. And do something for Maleficent Mother. Do something that you think she would like. She doesn't like evil. Do something you think she'd like. Go against your better nature. Make a personal sacrifice. A personal sacrifice for her. Something you think would please her best. Could be anything. Leave a comment in the comment section and tell me what you offered as a personal sacrifice. It might be being nice to somebody who's mean. being nice to somebody who's evil, being nice to someone you disagree with. Or it could just be an act of charity. That's fine if you can't stomach anything else. Do what I did. Leave a good review for someone you just can't stand who gets under your skin. Do it for a Maleficent mother. She created that person. She wants that person back. Do it for her. That's it. You have a terrific Heavenly Mother's Day. Don't forget to celebrate Earthly Mother's Day. Earthly Mother's Day is Sunday. And they put it on a Sunday because they're Christians, right? Heavenly Mother's Day is for the Heavenly Mother. That's today. So do something wild and outlandish for the Heavenly Mother. And do something for Maleficent Mother as well. Do something nice that she would really like. Make a personal sacrifice to her. Give her all your love. Just project pure love at her. See if you can bring her around to your side. See if you can persuade her to spare humanity for your sakes. Be someone the Maleficent Mother will really desire, really want to spare humanity for. Spare them the evil. Spare them the suffering. Be that sort of person. You have to go out of your way for her, just like she went out of her way for you. And I'll see you next time.